Welcome to Bay State Golf. I am Sean Melia. I'm trying to play every golf course in the state of Massachusetts, public, private, 9-hole, 18 holes. I've played 142 out of about 350, and I'm going to share today 10 golf courses that if you played half of these over the course of the 2025 season, you could probably say you had a very, very good year. If you got to all of them, it's been an excellent year, and you've seen a bunch of the state as well. Before we get to the 10, just a quick plug to subscribe and like this channel. You could also subscribe to my newsletter, baystategolf.beehive.com. I send out a free newsletter every Friday with some news and notes about what's going on in Bay State Golf, some competitive stuff, golf course stuff, essays. And if you want to help support my quest, you can also become a premium subscriber, get early course reviews before other people get them, and some bonus content, videos, some writing, and other stuff as well. So you can do that. Please subscribe to this. Please like this and share it with some golf sickos that you have in your life. So how did I put this list together? I kind of went through some of my favorite golf courses. These are courses that I have played. So you might be expecting me to have a Pine Hills on here, have not played Pine Hills yet. You might expect me to have a Crump and Fox on here, have not played Crump and Fox yet. If I play those golf courses this year, I think I've had a pretty good year. So I kind of culled through the golf courses that I've played that are public, that if you went and played, either maybe they're for the sake of value, they're very good, for just the quality of the golf, they're very good. So kind of different reasons for each of these golf courses to be on this list. I've got a little honorable mention at the end too. So we're going to get to about 14 different golf courses. So let's just get into it here. No particular order here. The first one is a golf course that I play and played a lot before I started the quest. So I have to put it on here because it was always felt to me like it was worth the drive. You could get a pretty good deal during the weekdays. I used to be a teacher, so summers were a good time to take advantage of some weekday deals. Butterbrook in Westford, Mass. It's out there in a part of the state that has Shaker Hills. It also has Red Tail, where I've not played in quite a while, so that's not on the list either. But Butterbrook is, for me, the best one out of those three, as far as just the quality of the design, the price point. You can get a cheaper price at Butterbrook than you can at the other courses out in that direction. The greens are sometimes one of the issues for people out there. They can be a little scruffy, but I really like the fact that you play through some tree-lined, tough holes, especially over the course of the front 9 and then 10 and 11. And then you play 12 through basically 17, and it's more open. You're playing over waste areas and playing over water. It's a golf course I like. It's a golf course that I was always willing to make a drive to play living in the city, when I was willing to go and play a place a few times. Also has a driving range, a chipping green. They just redid their third hole, which was a par 3. There used to be short with a funny tree that kind of made it a pretty bad hole. They've lengthened it. They've opened the green space up, and it's a pretty good hole from what I saw when I played it last October. And I'm sure it's even going to be better this year once it's grown in a little bit more. So Butterbrook in Westford, Mass, definitely worth going and checking out. It can get a little pricey on the weekends, especially if you want to play in the morning. They make you ride, and they charge you a bit more. But the weekday prices you can play are pretty good. So you can go and play for under $80, I think, during a weekday out there. At least that's what it used to be. But sometimes those prices tend to jump, and some places have not posted their 2025 rates quite yet. Second course on this list is the Ranch in Southwick, a big, brawny golf course. I went out and played it last October. I had played it before I started my quest in 2020, and I just remembering how many blind shots there are. There's some crazy hills that you hit tee shots off of. You can hit like 350, 375-yard tee shots if you catch the right slopes on the 16th hole and the 9th hole, especially 2 par 5s that just kind of tumble down. You get some great views up at the top near the 15th green, and it's a good challenge. The price is a little bit on the higher end, but for the conditions you're getting, It's actually a pretty good value when you think about some of the other places around the state that charge a lot of money and maybe aren't in great shape. So the ranch, really good challenge, great barn. You can go get some food, kind of just a good vibe overall. They have a driving range as well, and worth a drive from really anywhere in my mind in Massachusetts to go play, and even other states in New England. Really good spot, really tough course, and you can walk it. It's relatively walkable. A lot of people will probably ride it because the hills are pretty steep. But overall, really good golf course. Wish the finish was a little bit stronger, but awesome conditions, really fun golf. Go play the ranch. Next up is Kettle Brook in Paxton. Part of making this list is also thinking about courses that I would willingly go play again if I had the opportunity, even though I've checked it off. I tend to go back and play some places because I might play in some events over the course of a year, and I go back year over year. Kettlebrook, I played in a very chilly November day, finished in the dark. So it is a place I would like to go back and play again. It's a Brian Silva, just similar to Butterbrook. You end up playing some golf through some mountain kind of areas, or mountains there is a little bit strong, but some hilled, wooded areas. And then you come out and you play across some farmland over the last 3, 4, 5 holes. And I really enjoyed the layout. There's some funky holes with some trees in the way that I didn't really love, but I would love to play it when I can feel my hands, take some pictures and some video and get some better footage of it and kind of enjoy the walk a little bit more. But just some cool shots you can hit, a lot of places where you can use the ground to get the ball onto the green, some punch bowls, some big old slopes, some funky par fives. But Kettlebrook, good spot to go check out. That's kind of in central Mass, as if you're thinking about where you want to go, and go check out Kettlebrook. The owners of Kettlebrook also have another course in Boylston, and that's Wachusett Country Club, a public Donald Ross, not a lot of those in the state, and it's just a really, really solid golf course. One of my hidden gems when people ask me courses they should go play that I've seen that I had really never heard of before or played before, Wachusett Country Club is definitely on that list of courses I suggest to people. I grew up in Acton, not terribly far from Boylston, but never played Wachusett until I started the quest. I played it in 2022 and on a June day. Greens are outstanding, tends to be in good shape. It hosts the Worcester Am along with Kettlebrook every year. And it's just a kind of a charming back nine. Really enjoyed the back nine. It finishes with a par 3, which is kind of a bummer. 17 is a bit of just a get home hole as well. But the stretch of holes really from like 8 through 16 is really strong. You could reroute it so 1, 2, 3 finishes as 16, 17, 18. You cross the road for a bit for holes 4 through 7. Good par 3s, even though there's one as an 18th. Some good par 5s, nice set of greens, and just a really good Central Mass option. If you're looking for something new to play, go see Donald Ross's Wachusett Country Club. We're going to go on a string of Donald Ross golf courses here. Might as well just lump them all together. First, Franklin Park in Boston. Just a place that charmed my socks off when I first played it. And some people kind of gripe about the fact that it's in kind of a tricky area and the parking lot can get a little bit rowdy and you can be your ball might get snatched up by someone who's walking across the golf course because they don't really care to have golfers on the golf course, and all those kind of things come with playing at Franklin Park. I personally think it's a really, really great golf course. The fact that it's in the city is staggering, and it's got greens that are pretty good. The layout is just wide open. You can kind of spray your golf ball a little bit. In the summer, the fescue might grow up to punish you in some spots. But it's a place that I always love going back to. I like the setting. I personally like having parts of the golf course that are a little bit close to the road. You've got people who are walking to and from work, people on bikes. You go past a playground on the 9th hole that on the weekend might have a big birthday party. You're going to hear music. And there's some stories about Franklin Park that are a little unsavory, but it's a great golf course. And for $55 for a resident of Boston, it's an incredible deal. It's not as in great shape as the next course I want to talk about, which is George Wright, because George Wright is another Donald Ross. It's another public golf course in the city of Boston. Franklin Park and George Wright hosted the 2018, they co-hosted the 2018 Mass Amateur, and that was a point where the golf courses really started to improve a lot. But over the last 25 years, Mark Mungeum has done a ton of work at both, just slowly chipping away at making the golf courses better, more playable, more friendly for beginners, more challenging for the better players, to just attract a wide variety of players to the golf course. George Wright is the harder of the two. It's hard to talk about one without talking about the other, so they're just kind of paired in this video. George Wright is harder. It's tree lined, big hills. It was supposed to be a private golf course, so it has maybe some better land as far as, if you want to compare the two. Rolls through Hyde Park, and maybe one of the tougher back-to-back stretches of par fours in the state, in public golf in the country, maybe. Haven't played enough in other places to definitively say that, but the 9th and 10th holes are two of the toughest par fours you will find back-to-back in the state of Massachusetts. Maybe even you could go wider than that, but I'll stick with Massachusetts. They're very, very tough holes. In great shape, better set of greens than Franklin Park, and it's just in a little bit better condition than Franklin Park as well. But go play George Wright. If you live far away, drive to it. It is worth the drive. It's a tough tee time to get, but the value is there. I think it might be $65 for a non-resident, or $60 on the weekend, $55 if you do live in Boston, and to walk. And it's just a awesome set of golf courses. You could play both in a day if you know the right people. I've done that for the last 4 years, and it's one of my favorite days of golf that I play every year. All right, next up is a heavy hitter, a banger of a golf course, probably my favorite public course that I have played. It's also up there with a lot of the private courses because it is a blurry line for Taconic. You can get on as a public golfer 5 days in advance. They have a pretty robust membership that likes to snap up tee times, so it's a challenging tee time to get, but you can pay $180 to walk Taconic. It's ranked often in the top 2 or 3 best college campus golf courses in the nation. Yale is usually up there. Ohio State's is usually up there. Michigan's is usually up there. And Taconic is right there. I just saw official top 100 had it number 2. Considering you can't play Yale right now because it's under construction, that really makes it the most playable, most approachable public college golf course in the country until Yale reopens, and I think it's going to blow everyone else out of the water. But Taconic, it's in Williamstown. It is as far west as you can go in the state of Massachusetts. Borders New York, basically borders Vermont. If you know people from Williams College, you can get some discounts, but it's a Styles Van Cleek. It's just a superb setting. I love the variety of golf shots you have to hit there. You've got to have a little bit of length. You've got to have a little bit of touch around the greens. You are going to be challenged, especially on the back nine. It is just a really, really tough back nine. Really, aside from maybe the 10th and the 18th, which are par fives that you kind of are a little bit of a respite. But once you get past 10, you have a really tough hour and a half to 2 hours in front of you trying to drive the ball well, hit some good iron shots, and scramble if you miss greens. Just a beautiful place to play golf. Love the setting there as a whole, just the golf club, the small clubhouse, the Berkshires, super laid back, not pretentious. You could bring your dog and sit on the patio and just kind of watch golfers come in. Definitely worth playing and making time to go play Taconic. I've done a video about like 36-hole days or 36-hole trips that you can do. Taconic is definitely on that list. You can go watch that video as well if you're looking for some trips and ideas to do that with some buddies over the course of the summer. But Taconic, if you play Taconic this year, you will not regret it. I go try to play it once a year after playing it for the first time in 2020 because it's that good and it's hit that kind of top tier for me in the entire state. Another Styles and Van Cleek is DW Field in Brockton. You might be rolling your eyes. You might be saying, like, this is a golf course in Brockton. It's a municipal. If you played it 10 years ago, you absolutely are right to roll your eyes because the golf course was in really rough shape. But it has made a turnaround. I played it 4 years ago. I have yet to go back. It's always one of those places the season ends, and I think I just didn't get back to DW Field, and I'm a little bit bummed out because I don't have a lot of great pictures of it just from the day that I played and using my phone only and all that kind of stuff. But incredible set of greens. The greenskeeper and superintendent and just the city has put money into the golf course, so it's in better and better shape each year. It's playable. It's open. It's just, I was so blown away when I walked off and the three buddies I played with, one who's, a member at Myopia, kind of looked at me and said, like, this place is really good. And he plays a really good golf course on the regular. And he drove all the way to Brockton, and he did not regret the drive to play DW Field. So yes, roll your eyes that it's in Brockton and it's a golf course in Brockton or whatever you want to do, because people do that when I tell them about this or when I post about it. But it is a really, really good golf course. It's a great, great value. And go play DW Field in Brockton, and you will be very, very pleasantly surprised. It is a gem of a golf course. Sticking with the value side of things, we're going to go to Acushnet and talk about Acushnet River Valley. I've said that Acushnet word now a million times. I don't even know if I'm saying it right anymore. Acushnet Valley. Another incredible value, maybe one of the best in the state. Really good condition, interesting shots. You play similar to Butterbrook and to Kettle Brook. It's a place where you play a bunch of holes and then you come out to a different kind of opening of land. Then suddenly you go from tree-lined golf holes to some marsh-lined golf holes and a little bit windier, more open land before you kind of come back in for 18 and get back into the woods and the tree-lined style of golf. You get there and you're going to think, man, this place is run down because they've got kind of a double wide trailer as their clubhouse. They've got a driving range. They've got a nice big putting green. So the attention is on the golf course, and it's really good. I also found just the experience being there. We played on a Monday afternoon. This was a few years ago, and I remember it vividly. We were the last tee time to get off before they closed the tees so that they had space for their afternoon leagues to play. We got stuck behind a group that was playing a little slow, and we actually weren't sure if we were going to be able to make the turn in time for the league. The league actually waited for us and let us play within their league. A couple of groups just held up and let us play amongst them, and that was wonderful because I don't necessarily know if there's a lot of golf courses that would do that or a lot of groups. I might stand corrected, and maybe your group would do that too, or your men's league, but that was really great. So I got to play all 18 holes. Great, great golf course as far as value, as far as conditions for a public course. Another one that's a little bit off the beaten track if you don't live on the South Shore, but one that is worth a trip down to play at some point this year. And go check out Acushnet River Valley. And finally, Blissful Meadows in Uxbridge was another golf course that I was just really, really pleasantly surprised by. And that's another part of this list is there's a lot of golf courses on this list that I hadn't played before 2020 when I started this quest. I started at 0 back 5 years ago. So anything I had played before then, I had to go back and play because I wanted to have pictures and I wanted to write little reviews and have things fresh on my mind. But Blissful Meadows is a place I had never played. Went with a few buddies and really, really enjoyed the round. Once you get past the first few holes, which have some kind of tree issues for me and just a little bit narrow and in some funny spots. But once you get kind of out past 5, 6, you're playing a really, really good golf course. And I'd also say those other holes are good because the greens are super interesting. I really liked and enjoyed putting on those greens. They were in pretty good shape. We played, kind of early in the spring, if I remember correctly. And then you get to the back nine. The name Blissful Meadows is, it kind of would evoke ideas of maybe some flat land. The front is kind of a flatter piece of property, and the trees give you a little bit of sense of just you got to kind of maneuver your golf ball. On the back, it's also, you got some trees, but it is hilly, rollicking land. The 10th hole, a big par five, has this really cool kind of like side hill bank that you have to use to either get your ball to kind of skitter up closer to the green, or just it also just protects your ball from flying into the woods. And it's just a really cool feature. But you're playing just through some rocky land. The two par threes on the back nine are superb. So it's just kind of an interesting place to walk and play golf. The greens were good. The conditions were pretty good. It was interesting and engaging. And I really enjoyed my round out in Blissful Meadows as well. So that's 10 golf courses. I'll read them off again quickly, and then I'll give you 4 more because I know that there's some spots in the state that I might not have talked about yet, and maybe I'll explain that too. But we've got Butterbrook, The Ranch, Kettle Brook, Wachusett, Franklin Park, George Wright, Taconic, DW Field, Acushnet River Valley, and Blissful Meadows. I would also just encourage you to go and check out Cape Cod Country Club, which is in Falmouth. Super interesting golf course. It was slated to become a solar field. The golf course, great set of greens, tons of false fronts. Really hard if you get a little nervous around greens. Not a place I would want to play a qualifier at, just because there are some places where the ball can just end up in some funky spots. Very cool volcano hole. Kind of peters out after the volcano hole as far as just the finishing holes, because they've made some changes for the sake of houses and other stuff. But Cape Cod Country Club, definitely worth going and checking out. Also down in the southern area, Crosswinds has 27 holes. Another really, really good value in that part of the state. I played all 27 in one day, went back last summer and ran an event there, and everyone was kind of very impressed. It's good golf. It's great value. It's a little cheaper than its neighbors, Pine Hills and Waverly Oaks. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, a little bit cheaper, that is a really good option as well. And it's good golf too. It's not just that you're getting kind of a discount because the golf's not great. It's pretty strong golf. You got to keep your ball in a string. A lot of blind shots. When it's dry, the ball can kind of careen off into the trees, but that's kind of the kind of golf you get on the Cape anyways. And then out west, I do want to give the Ledges a shout out. This is another place I'm itching to go back and play when I don't have to keep a score in a Mass Pub Links like I did last year without I didn't even have my C game that day out there. But just a place that I'm interested to go back and see and photograph and just get a sense of it in a different way than when it's set up for a mass golf event. But another really cheap golf course. I am very much looking forward to getting out to Western Mass this summer for a few trips, maybe try to stay out there and play a bunch of places out in that neck of the woods, because living in Boston, it is tough to get out there on a consistent basis. So maybe set up a home base for a little bit and be out there and play some golf. I know I don't have anything on the North Shore as far as 18-hole golf courses, but I will tell you, go play Cape Ann Golf Course in Essex, Mass. Another one that if you play it in the shoulder seasons, you're going to avoid the greenhead. Summer is a little bit trickier, but an awesome 9-hole golf course that I was just really enjoyed playing. Want to go back and play it again. And just you're playing along the marsh, some lovely views. The 4th hole is one of the best par 4s for me in the States. Just a stunning view, cool hole, 2 fun shots. You got to hit 2 good shots to make a par. But everything that's out there once you get past the first 2 holes is good views. And the 7th hole is a completely bananas par 3 with a green that's the size of a small kitchen table and right on the water. Really good spot too. So I'd encourage you to go and check out Cape Ann as far as just a place that's worth seeing this year. Where are some courses that you want to play this year that you are looking forward to getting back and playing that you would suggest other people play? 10 to 13 that I just gave you is a pretty good number, I'd say, if you got to see some of those. But I know that I'm looking forward to seeing some places that I have not played yet. And these are all places I would love to get back to and play again. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Check out baystategolf.beehive.com if you are interested in getting some writing and just a weekly kind of update on what I'm up to, and links to all my stuff in one place on a Friday morning to kick off the weekend. And we will see you next time on Bay State Golf.